Welcome everybody to tonight's home clinic. A home clinic is where we grab one quality coach and he presents on one specific subject for you guys to enjoy, and he usually does that from home. If you guys have been enjoying this series and would like to see it continue, we want to ask that you would like and subscribe below. Those things certainly help us to grow and is kind of that feedback to say this is a good thing. Keep this coming. If you have a desire to present in the future, reach out to us on Twitter, DM us. That's at the Chief Pigskin. All right, without further ado, tonight's home clinic.
What's up, coaches? My name is Anthony Gonzalez. I'm the head football coach at Everett Alvarez High School in Salinas, California. I am joined here today with Rishard Davis. He is the athletic director and head coach at Santa Cruz Valley Union High School in Eloy, Arizona. Coach, you are the first Arizona coach to come do a presentation for us, so thank you for taking the time to do that. We're going to be talking a little bit of single wing. I recently put out a tweet on Twitter asking coaches for single wing, double wing T guys in Arizona, Nevada, and California, and your name popped up on that list, and a couple guys DM'd me about it too, and they're like, you got to get Coach Davis on. So Coach, tell us a little bit about your system, about your presentation.
So today I'm just going to I'm going to talk about our power play out of our single wing set. So I'm mostly going to come from a perspective. I'm not a scheme guy. You know, I don't proclaim to be a scheme guy. I'm not that type of guy to say, yeah, I created this. No, this is a copycat thing. We take ideas from coaches, but power is basically our bread and butter play. It's what makes everything run. So that's what we try. I mean, we try our best to preach it to the boys, and they pretty much caught on to it. They're disciples of power now. So it's been beneficial for us in the years, and we pretty much run it when we want to. So that's why we like it.
That's awesome. So it's your RPO, power often.
Often, very often.
Okay, cool. All right, Coach. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and share your screen and take it away.
All right. So again, like I said, I'm going to come today from a perspective. Why we run power as our base. I have some contact information here if you want to jot that down. But here I'm going to try to put it in full screen for you.
There you go.
All right, but here's some contact information. If you want to write it down, reach out to me. Again, like I said, I'm not a guru by any means. I like to hear from, especially high school coaches. I think they have contributed a lot to this game of football, even on a college and pro level. So if you feel like you ever need to reach out to me, there's my email and there's my phone number. So I did add this disclaimer only because I don't want guys to feel like I'm trying to convince you that this is the only way or the best way to improve your team. I'm coming to you from a point of view, a perspective, not really, I'm not trying to teach you how to run power. What I want to show you today is just what it's done for our program in the past. So I'm going to give you just a little background of myself, because I think that will give you an idea of why we do what we do. I played high school ball in Alabama it was a K through 12 school, the only school I ever went to, from kindergarten all the way until I graduated. Their football was life. It was religion. I had the chance to play for a Hall of Fame coach, and we ran the wing tee, split back veer. And again, there's that identity there. When it comes to football, after that, I tried to walk on at the University of Arizona, but it didn't work out. So I transferred to a Division III school in Alabama called Huntington College. There I was able to get a math degree. And we were a spread, hurry up type offense there. And again, I had a chance to play for a Hall of Fame coach. He's inducted in the D2 Hall of Fame. I think that happened when I was there. But again, I'm getting good coaching throughout the years. And after I left there, I actually moved back to Arizona because for some reason, I like my time there. So I was an assistant coach for 4 years at 2 different schools. And um, the weird way that I got my first head coaching job was um, I wasn't even trying to be a coach. I wasn't trying to be a coach. I decided to work on my master's degree um, in the 2013. So I was taking a year off from coaching because I wanted to focus on that. So I got a job at this other school, which is actually Santa Cruz, just as a math teacher. So I was going to go there and, just teach and get into the groove of being a teacher, the day in, day out deal. But the second week there, and this was during the summer, so I was teaching summer school. So the second week of teaching summer school, the head coach resigned. So I pretty much got the job by formality. I applied and I got the job. And I wasn't board approved until July. So as a coach, you can almost think in your head, like, man, I don't have enough time with these guys. Our first game is going to be in August. So we were dealing with just a handful of upperclassmen. I only had 1 senior and 4 juniors, and everybody else, the underclassmen, made up the team that year. Just like every coach every year, you want to evaluate your team, see what you have for the next season. So I used a 40-yard dash just to see, do we have some athletes out here? Not one player in the program ran in the 40s in the 40-yard dash. So that led me to figure out that, there's a lot of things that we may not be able to do with this bunch. I know everybody loves the spread and loves all that stuff that you see on Saturday and Sunday, but to me, I didn't want to just take the job. I wanted to do a great job with it. This was my dream pretty much coming true in front of my eyes. So I wanted to make sure that we're at least competitive every year. Before I got there, just to give you an idea, the teams were only winning like 1 or 2 games a season. They only had 1 playoff experience the 6 years before I got there. So my first 6 years as a head coach, I've been able to go to have 4 playoffs experience, and we average close to 8 wins every season. So all that, when I got there, that kind of led me to a different approach, how I wanted my team to look. I know I've talked about offense up to this point, but I've always been a defensive coach as an assistant coach. I was a defensive player in college and in high school. So everybody that knew me before coaching, they know me as a defensive guy. So I wanted my offense to emulate defense, man. I mean, defense to me has to be physical. It has to be fast. So I wanted my offense to look the same. So I started researching different offenses because I knew with the type of guys that I had on the team, I wanted them to be successful. So I started researching double wing, single wing, T formation type football, because the physicality of those football type teams has always impressed me. One play that stands out to me is from the double wing is superpower, or some guys, they call it superpower. And from a defensive coach, if you're a defensive guy, from a defensive coach perspective, it looks like you can stop it. It looks like you have all the answers for it. But to this day, I really haven't seen anybody constantly stop the double wing superpower. Maybe you have better guys than they do. That's usually the only time that you can stop it. Then I kept researching, and then I came across Tim Murphy's shotgun wing offense. And it's pretty much the same principles, just you're in the shotgun. And so I just decided, hey, let's go with this. Let's see how this is going to go. So my first season, we went 3-6. And again, we were underclassmen heavy. We were asking sophomores and freshmen to lead our team. And we went 3-6. Our first game, we actually didn't have a scrimmage going into the game because we had some issues with some equipment, and we were told that we couldn't scrimmage. So we were luckily that first game, we rushed over 200 yards in that first game, but we couldn't stop anybody that year. I mean, our defense was pretty much all sophomores. So after the season was over, I mean, just like any coach, you evaluate your season, how things went. I was actually looking to research more offenses, what could make us better. But like every year, coaches go to clinics. They talk to other coaches in the off season, and one of the top teams in the state, I had a conversation with their coach, and he told me that before they played us, they spent more time preparing for us. And it was basically that single wing look. Nobody else in the state was doing it. Coming from his mouth and from his perspective, I just thought, hey, if the top team in the state, if they had a hard time preparing for us, why not stick with this offense? I didn't want to overdo it. You know, as coaches, sometimes I've seen it as an assistant coach. We overdo things sometimes. So I was like, well, let's give it another year. Let's give it another year and see what happens. So to me, I think you need an identity when it comes to football. As this presentation goes, I'm going to show you our power play. Whenever you think about power, if I was sitting in a room full of coaches and we think about power, there's certain teams you can name straight off the bat that you know they're going to run this play and they're going to run it well. I put up some teams here: Stanford, North Dakota State, and Wisconsin. I try to watch their film as much as possible because these three teams here, they're going to run power, and you know they're going to run power. But when you watch them play, teams have a hard time with them. They have a hard time with them. And, I mean, even think on a college level, when you know Wisconsin's going to run power 20 times a game, and they're still in the top 25 every season. So I just think that's extremely important for your team, especially a high school team. Create an identity. Don't just dabble in something. Pick something, whatever it is, even if it's not power. You know, just pick something and create an identity for your squad. So here's some points why I like power. Power, just like we know as coaches, you're going to create a double team. Sometimes you're able to create more than one double team. What that does for us, that just creates more alleys for our running back. And we've learned over the past that sometimes these double teams get in the way of linebackers. So that has helped us a lot when running power. It's a point of attack play. Our running back's not looking for daylight. He's going to the point of attack every single time, you know. And power is not, it's not a sexy play. Sometimes you're only going to get 2 or 3 yards, and sometimes it breaks. Sometimes it does break. So, but you just have to be patient with it, and good things will happen throughout the game. It has a physical and violent element. I mean, every time we watch it on film, I mean, some of our best blocks come from the power play. You know, some of our most violent runs from our running back comes from running power. So that's what I like. That's what I want my team to look like. You can also use different variations. I actually put in different variations in the presentation on the film. Our quarterback run power, our running back run power. We've done power read in the past. Last year we dabbled in the play duo, which is kind of becoming a little popular. And all that is just power without a puller. And we done. If it's power, we'll run it. We'll run it. So if it has a power element, we'll run it. To me, I think it can be ran on any down. So we run it plenty times on fourth down and some yardage. And we feel confident about it. And again, it's because it's our identity, it's what we do. We feel confident that we can run it on any down. Like I said earlier, it gives you an identity. Teams in the state, they know. I talk to coaches that we play, and they joke with me all the time. Are you going to run power? Yeah, we're going to run it. It has a direct impact on your play action game. I did throw in one pass in the film that I'm going to show you, just to show you where running power on a consistent basis can help you out in a play action game. It works best, to me, this is my opinion. This is not fact, but to me, it works best as a bread and butter play. I don't think that you should dabble in power. You shouldn't run it every now and then. If you want to be good at power, it's something that you have to. Like, it has to be the run that you run the most. Everything else is a counter to it. It's just one of those plays that is just going to work better as your core play. And then finally, to me, it's not a home run play, like I said earlier. It's not a sexy play. It's just one of those plays that's going to keep you in the game. All right. If you're not creating momentum, it's a momentum creator. So just stay with it, and trust me, eventually good things will happen. So just to give you our setup. So again, like at the bottom, I don't want to get in trouble from Coach Murphy. This is something that he created, Coach Tim Murphy out of Clayton Valley. This is something that he came across because he used to run the double wing a lot. So here's his shotgun wing, and we run this, and the spacing is just for you to see the nomenclature, but to give you an idea, we're foot to foot. And you'll see on the film that I show you, we're foot to foot, but I space it out so that my guys they can learn the system. The numbers represent point of attack. We don't really attack a gap. We attack in the area. So the numbers, we're mainly a gap scheme team. So we're trying to send runs at a point of attack because we pull guys a lot. So we have guys entering from that point of attack. And since I'm talking about power today, just to give you an idea, we always run power to the right. And the four guy is the point of attack on power. And you'll see that on film. All right, so here's a couple of diagrams of power. Again, I'm not proclaiming that this is something brand new and innovative. We all know the diagram. We know what power looks like. But I just want to show you how we do it. So on this first diagram here, you could clearly see that we're able to get two double teams here. My first year coaching at this school, I taught my guys not to come off double teams because we're foot to foot. It creates piles. It really does. You'll see in film, it creates piles. It's hard for the linebackers to fill the lanes. So I taught them to not come off their double teams at all. But as the years grew, we started developing our linemen, and we kind of worked with them coming off the double teams. And over here, we're only able to get one double team because our center has the easiest job. He's always blocking back. So he knows that. So whenever he doesn't have anybody to block back, he can help out on the double team. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go straight to some film. So here's some film from my first year at Santa Cruz. So you can see the setup here. We're in our shotgun wing. And I'll add this here. Coaches always ask, do you flip it? We rarely flip it. I think we might have, my whole 6 years there, we flipped it like for 5 plays total. So the wing is always to the right. We're always in this set. Now we do run other formations, but 80% of the game, we're in this set here. So let's look at power. So they know it's coming. They know that we're going to run a power, and we're still successful with it. So right here, I just want to show you the double team. So here, I tell our guys that's the first important block of this play. I gotta have a double team every single time. And you'll see that they never come off this double team because, like I said earlier, my first year, I told them not to come off this double team. So that double teams happen. So let's go back and look at the rest of the play. There's your kick out from our fullback. And then one thing that you notice about us, we'll pull 2-3 guys sometimes to the point of attack. All right. Everybody knows on Power O that the guard is usually pulling to the linebacker. This tight end is going to pull as well. Sometimes we'll pull the tackle. Just depend on what kind of defensive structure they give us. So here, the guard and the tackle leads into the hole. And again, all we're trying to do, we're trying to get more guys at the point of attack. And it worked for us. Like I said earlier, like this is something that I just brought into year 1 because I wanted to be successful. I knew we were going to have a hard time with teams, but throughout the years, it's just been pretty good for us. And, I mean, I love it. So this is my second year, and it's the same team, and we're still with it. We're still running power. So this is our second year, and now you can see. Now we spent a lot of time with the guys in the off season. Now we taught our linemen how to come off double teams. So you can see our tackle and our guard, they're on a double team. And then since the guard is the post man, the tackle able to scrape over the top and get a linebacker. So now we're getting even more guys at the point of attack. But that first year I wasn't able. Well, I was able, but I wanted my guys to play fast. You know, I want them to play fast. I'm big on execution, you know, and I think the one thing that slows our players down a lot is just thinking too much. So now we're getting the blocks. And like I said earlier, it's not sexy, but it's productive. You're gonna get constant yards off of it. Yeah, it's just something we run at any play, any down. We know every now and then we're not gonna pick up great amount of yardage, but it works. It works. We like it, and we keep working on it. All right, so here it is again. Now we sent a fly action here just to confuse the defense a little bit, but it's still power. It's still power. Our running back, he decided to break it outside, but right here, you can see that we got our double in here, and there's our kick out, and then our pulling guard. So the running back, he had a lane. He could have took it right here, okay? But this kid was good. He ended up being a JUCO All-American, and he decided to do whatever he wanted, and I was okay with that. So, but it's still power. Nevertheless, it's still power. We still had lanes, and it's still a physical play. We're knocking people off the ball. So now we're in my third, I think this is my third year. And now you can see that it hits even nicer. We haven't gave up on it. We're having success. It hits nicer. If you look, the double team has their guy 7 yards. There's that double team. You're gonna see now we coach our linemen to get off their double team if they see linebackers trying to fall into the gap right there. All right, so like I said earlier, it's nothing spectacular. It's just, from my opinion, it helped us create an identity, and it helps covers for other things that we do as well. So I have this deal with my players, because I either running a player with the play, or the quarterback comes back to the sideline to get the play. So I have a deal with my players. If it takes me 5 seconds to call a play, they just turn around and call power every time. So because when I first started coaching, I'm just thinking too much. We'll get some delay of game penalties because we can't get the play off. So my quarterback knows now, if we're standing in a huddle if he's standing beside me for 2 or 3 seconds and I haven't called a play, he know to just call power and just come back for the next play. This play here, this is actually our power pass. So I just wanted to throw this in here just to show you what, if you use power as your base, what it does to defenses. So this was actually this was the championship game here. So just notice these linebackers and this free safety. So again, you have to realize the way we run power, we're trying to get a bunch of guys at the point of attack. So how are you gonna counter that? You got to put more guys at the point of attack. So a lot of defenses that we see, this safety here, he's in the run game a lot. He's in the run game. So our power paths have been big for us only because we're committed to that power. We're committed to running power on any down. So I just want to show you what that looks like. All right. So as you can see in this frame, on the snap, the backers and the safeties, they're coming. They know we run power. They've been taught all week that we got to stop that, So, and that's why, that's one reason why we do it. We have other plays too, but that's why we do that, so that we could catch a team off guard every now and then. All right, so let's get back to the power. So again, we're in the same formation, always to the right. And a running back just does a good job. It clogged up in there, but he did press the hole. That's one thing that I try to preach to my running backs all the time. You got to press the hole first. And then after that, you could do what you want to do. I don't know why, but kids love bouncing it out to the outside for some reason. But if you look at power has a cutback element to it every time. The cutback is there almost 90% of the time. So we try to preach that as well, but on Friday nights, for some reason, they're gonna bounce it out to the outside. It's all right. If you give me 20 yards, it's good. I like it. to the next one. There it is again. Still giving, I mean, look at this double team right here. This is why I like it. This is why I like it so much. This double team right here. It just give our linebacker, I mean, give our running backs lanes, and look what it does to this linebacker as well. He don't know where to go. He took himself out to play. This running back had good vision. He cut it back instead of keeping it in that same point. He cut it back. And anytime you can double, you don't need great linemen. You don't need great linemen. Two should beat one every time. Two should beat one every time. All right, so here's a different formation, but it's still power. Sometimes we'll run a twin set, but it's still power. The backfield is still set up the same way. There's my double right there. There's my kick out, and there's my pulling guard coming up in the hole. There's a running back that decided to cut it back, and that's what usually happens every single time. It's what we try to preach all the time. Cut it back, cut it back. Because usually on power, linebackers, I don't know if they're tall or if just the flow of the play, they're always scraping over the top, always trying to scrape over the top. There's the double again, as you can see. And it's just something we do. We teach our guys, since we're foot to foot, we teach our guys, hey, you don't have to come off that double team. You don't have to. Just keep doubling them. 9 times out of 10, you're going to run them into another defender. And as you can see, that's exactly what happened right now. He ran him into this backside linebacker. He probably could have made the play. But all right, so here's it again. Same thing here. There's our double at the point of attack. Or here they were giving us the edge here. So sometimes on my fullback, he's confused on who to block. Or he just missed his block. But as you can see, the guard came around. He cleaned it up. And we were still able to make good yardage. Also notice the backside, the tight end is coming this time also. The tight end is coming. So again, we're just trying to get more guys at the point of attack. Just trying to get more guys at the point of attack. And it works. So like I said earlier, it looks like you can stop it. It's been successful for us. Now here's a play, another variation. It's actually a shuffle pass to the tight end. This tight end on the backside. He's gonna still pull. If you're game planning that tight end when he pulls, you may think that he's going to block, but he's gonna be the ball carrier. So it's just a shuffle pass. So we have a toss play where the running back goes behind the quarterback. So we're gonna fake that and shuffle pass it to the tight end. So he opens up. There's our double. Here comes our kick out. There's our pulling guard. just cut it up. The hard thing to coach here, the tight ends want to take it outside too, but this guy, he was patient. He was a really good player. He could have played at any position, honestly. But as soon as you catch that ball there, you need to turn up, because just power is just an inside play. And again, it's still power. It's still power. We're still getting guys at the point of attack. We're still running it the same way. It's just a different variation. All right. Here it is again. And it's just what we do. I believe this game, this drive, we actually ran the power 8 times in a row because we picked up 7 yards every single time. So my kids know that if we pick up 10 yards off a play, I'm more likely going to call it again the very next play. So we just kept doing it until we scored. And it's just what we do, man. I mean, I'm lucky to have boys that they don't look at me like I'm crazy. You know, people in the stands probably look at me like I'm crazy, but I can call a timeout on a 4th down and ask them what they want to do. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say power. So I guess I made them drink the Kool-Aid early. So again, I'm showing you all these clips. We haven't got out of formation. I think we got out one time. And I mean, coaches know this. They know this. But I think what helps us, we're going to see the same defense every single time. It's a lot of times that we'll play a team that will run the same defense somebody else ran against us the week before. And to me, I just think my boys seeing it more than once, that just helped their confidence. Now, this is actually duo. This is running power without a puller. So usually on power, the guard will pick up that guy, and we're going over off our double teams a whole nother man. Well, now we're just staying on the man that's in our gap, but we still tell our tight end to pull. We still tell our tight end to pull to the point of attack. So, but here you'll see that the guard will not pull here. And now we're able to create 2 double teams up front. We're able to create 2 double teams, but it's still power. I still got my down blocks, my double teams, and my kick out. And you could still say it's power O with the tight end pulling, but here we don't have the guard pulling here. Only the tight end. And again, it's still power. It's still the same play. All right, so now we're in our ace formation. We just spreading out our wing back and our backside tight end. But I think this is Q power. This is quarterback power now. Right there, I still have my doubles. Let me go back so you can see it really good. have my kick out. Here comes my pulling guard. Now I have my running back. He's running to the point of attack. Again, we like to get more guys at the point of attack so that we have more blockers than you do have defenders at the point of attack. And then our quarterback, he just does the rest with this. But it's still power. It's just an attitude for us. Like, we're gonna run it, you know. And I'm convinced now, after all these years running it, I'll probably forever run it until I decide to not coach anymore. Here it is again, Q power again. As you can see, all of our bats are going to the point of attack. Everybody, even the tight end. Okay. And I think that's what sets us apart, especially being foot to foot on the line. We rarely get this guy making the play on the backside. I tell our guys, if he does, he's probably a D1 player, you know. So we rarely get that guy from the backside making the play. Here it is again. And my running back loves it, because my running back, this from last year, he was just a junior. He'll be a senior this year. And he's a wrestler too, so he loves being physical. So he loves when I call power. He just goes. But there it is. There's your double. There's your double. They didn't have a man they didn't really have an end man on the line of scrimmage because they're in a 3-3 stack. They were playing their backers off. So we just had our fullback to lead this game. And our corner, he took care of this backer here. If they're going to play their corners off 7-8 yards, we won't even deal with them when we're blocking. So yeah. Again, same formation. Now we run sweep a lot also. So here's the power off a sweep look. And sweep is a good play for us. It probably picks up 8 or 9 yards every time we run it, only because teams they're in the box a lot. They're in the box. They're trying to stop the power. So time to time we're giving them this sweet look. But smart teams that we play, teams that we have trouble with, they teach their linebackers to read. They see this pulling guard. They see the fullback still going to their spot. They know that that's power, but that only happens 20% of the year. So we'll keep running it the same, you know. So the quarterback pulls it, and now he has more space to work with. This was our last game last season, semifinals. Lost to the state champions here. But as you could see, you would think the state champions, we run power so much, they're going to have our number when we get ready and run it. But we were still able, we we were in a game for a while. We're backed up in our goal line. What do we want to run? Power. That's our identity. So that takes me back to my comment earlier. It gets you out of trouble. It gotten us out of trouble in the past. So I'm just telling you from experience, But again, if you want this play to get you out of trouble, it has to be something that you do on a consistent basis. You just cannot put it in 1 week because you want to run it. This has to be your first play that you teach to your boys, and you run it. Another story about power, we actually designate 1 day a year, and we actually run power at practice for an entire hour. We call it power hour. So the kids like it. It's not, I don't try to beat them in the ground. Once they start getting tired, I tell them, hey, you need some water? Let me know. I'll stop it. But we only run for a whole hour. We only run power. It sounds crazy, but the boys, they like it. And it's just my way to stress to them is like, hey, this is the play that I need yards on every time we run it, even if it's 1 or 2 yards. And they buy into it. And again, it sounds crazy, but if you're out there watching it, it's not really that crazy. The guys get winded. I say, hold up, the clock is still running. I'm like, let's just get a drink of water, and then we'll run it again. But honestly, that's one drill we do. We do that at least 1 time during preseason every year. We just run power for a whole hour. And the boys there, as soon as we get in pads, they'll ask me, Coach, when we doing power hour? I'm like, just wait. We got time. All right, so here it is again. And now, this past year, we're running it with confidence. Now, if you were looking at it throughout, I kind of sequenced the film just to show you how it evolved throughout the year. And now we're running it with confidence. You could see our backside guard, his blocks he's just not in the way now. He's really blocking the guy. He's trying to put him on the ground. So and this is against the state champion. They went on to win the state championship. We just had some mistakes this game. Fumbled on the first 2 drives of the game, but we were still able to keep ourselves in the game. And I'll say it again. I know I said it many times today. It's because we stayed true to running power. We kept running it. And it broke eventually. Here's our cue power. Again, if you look at the base of the play, here comes my kick out block, my pulling guard, my double team right here. We add an extra blocker only because we're foot to foot and it's single wing, and that's single wing, double wing type football. We're just trying to get more blockers at the point of attack. Now look at the defense. The linebackers are really scraping now because they know where we're coming. They know where we're coming about 40% of the game. So why not get a head start? But a quarterback sees that and he cuts it back. And that's if you're going to run power, preach that to your ball carriers. The cutback lane is going to be there a lot. There's our shuffle pass again. Again, we run toss sweep. So quarterback is just stringing it out, making it look like toss sweep. He's really not doing a great job making it look like toss sweep, but it doesn't matter. We still got our double team, got our kick out at the point of attack. The tight end's patient. He sits in the hole, turns up. So at any given time, we can run power with a lot of guys on the team. We can run the power with a lot of guys on the team. Here's our direct snap look. So a true single wing. So now we got the running back there. We have a blocking back right here, and our fullback is right here. So it's more of a direct snap look that we do from time to time. But this is duo right here. So notice duo, the defense that they were in, we really couldn't create two doubles. Because again, like I said earlier, we teach our center to block back every time. So we weren't able to create two doubles. But we're not pulling the guard. We're not pulling anybody here. But it's still power. It looks like zone, but it's still power. It's just on duo, we teach our running back to read this linebacker. So he's just gonna go where he's not. So there he goes. He's scraping over the top. The running back cuts it back. And again, do we want to score touchdown? Yes, but this play right here, we're not trying to hit the home run every time. We're just trying to stay honest, keep the defense honest, give us an opportunity to score. More times than not, we do score. Here it is again. So now they're really trying to take it away. They put the N inside the tight end. So we really don't have anybody to kick out. That's fine. We have this call where we log block. We call it log blocking. And we just pin the end man on the line of scrimmage down to the line. And the running back knows he bounces out. This is the only time he's taught to bounce it out. There it is, a bunch of guys to the point of attack. Our guard is doing a great job. Pulling guard, picking up that linebacker. And that's it. That's usually all you need if you're going to run a power. So as you notice throughout this presentation, we've been running the same formation. And that's pretty much us. Like, that's what we do. We're not trying to, I'm looking for execution. I'm not like, I have this theory that I don't believe that, well, it's just my theory. I think that it's very hard to out-scheme a lot of coaches. I mean, can you out-scheme the player? My job is just to beat the players on the field. Coaches, I feel like we do ourselves disjustice trying to out-scheme other teams. Just get good at what you do. Get good at what you do, execute well. To me, that takes less energy, less worry than trying to figure out how can you beat a team. So yeah, it's just an attitude play. It's just an attitude play. And again, like I said earlier, I'm just coming from a perspective. I'm showing you what it has transformed us into, you know. And our guys, I mean, they get a kick out of watching it. They get a kick out of watching it. I mean, when we need a yard, they're telling me to run power now.
it was really good to see like the progression that you guys had from your first year to like the second year to the third year. I was noticing that on your first year you had this like little tiny guy as your tight end
Yeah.
compared to everybody else. So um, how big is your O line usually? Because I noticed they got bigger as you.
Yeah, this year's probably gonna be my biggest O line. Um, well, here's another interesting fact. Before I got there, the weight room was obsolete. Like I mean, they really didn't train. And since I've been there, administration gave me a weight training class, so I have them all year. And the guys are getting bigger. So that year, I mean, we played a guy at guard, our pulling guard that year. That first year, he was only 160, 165.
Mhm.
So I mean, other guys, because of what I usually do, I try to put my bigger guys on that power side
Sure.
where we're getting those powers. So on the backside, if you weren't paying attention to the backside, if you go back and look at it, that's where all our smaller guys were.
It's like your
On
quick
the
side for you because they got to pull, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we never had, like, this year I would say is our first year that we've had a prototypical tight lineman. He's like 6'3", 250 right now. I mean, he was heavier as a fresh. He started as a freshman. He was 290.
Wow.
He started wrestling. He joined a wrestling team, and he shedded those pounds, and he's fat. He's faster, quicker now, but he's still a big boy. But yeah, we're trying to win games, man. It's not, we don't really have the big linemen, the smart. I mean, to me, I feel like if you're gonna play O-line, you gotta be smart too.
Sure, definitely.
So with what we do, we don't ask them to do a lot.
Well, speaking of being smart, like what determines that backside? You said sometimes the guard pull, the tackle pulls, or both, and even the tight end every now and then, right?
Yeah.
What determines that pull?
Well, at first it was just a defensive structure. We were going with if we saw odd fronts at first, we were going with the guard and the tight end.
Okay.
Even fronts, we were going because the tight end can step in and be that hinge block usually on the power side, for power on backside for four-man structure. But now we exclusively now just pull the guard and the tight end every time. And I tell the tight end now, if that end is giving us fuss on the backside, stay at home. We don't really need you. We want you, but we don't really need you. So he'll feel it. The tight end feels it throughout the game. If he feels like that DN is staying at home, because we'll pull it every now and then with the quarterback on the backside. So if he feels like the end is staying at home, he'll pull every time.
Is that a built-in read, or is that just something you guys call from the box or the sideline?
In the past, we usually call it. We'll see. We want to see it a few times. But I think this year, because this coming up season, I'm going to have a pretty quick quarterback in the backfield. So we're probably going to teach him how to read it this year.
Okay. That'll add a little extra.
Yeah, I know.
Really worry about even more.
Yeah.
I like what you said about power as a momentum creator, because you're right. Like when your team starts to go downhill and physical, it looks hard to stop, man.
Yeah, man. I learned a lot. I feel like I learned a lot from being an assistant coach. I know the first school I was at, man, the coach would change up the scheme week to week for a team, just for a team. And I could see it when we go out to practice. The kids are confused. Luckily, one year we had a bunch of seniors. We had a big group of seniors, and luckily they would get it by Thursday, and we could go in and do something brand new. But I didn't want to do that, and I saw how much it slowed us down. Man, we're now, because we really haven't changed the system. Now I can put in the whole offense in like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I choose not to, just because I mean, we're not going to have anything to do mainly, but I mean, I can honestly now we pretty much had the whole system in 3 or 4 days. After that, I move on to other formations.
Hmm.
You may not run the same um, other formations, but that formation that you saw mainly, that's what we run probably 80-90% of the time.
Cool. Well, I mean, you keep doing you because you obviously you've had the record the past 6 years to prove it. You've taken a team, won very few games into playoffs every year. That's just amazing, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna sign us off. Do you have anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Nah, man. Then I knew it was gonna be kind of crisp, but yeah, I thank you for the opportunity. It was my first. You could probably tell it was my first, but
First time's always a little scary, but you know what? You did a great job, and
yeah,
we appreciate you spending the time to do this for us. If you want to get a hold of Coach Davis, your Twitter handle is also at Davis the Coach.
SC, Davis.
SC at the end. Go ahead and shout it out for them.
It's at Davis the Coach SC.
Got you. We'll hit them up if you guys have any questions, especially regarding power. One last time, thank you, Coach Davis, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if you guys enjoy the content, please check us out at clinic.cheappigskin.com. We have a bunch of other presentations from other coaches that you can learn from, and hopefully it helps you in your program. I'll see you guys later.